What's up, y'all? I'm out here at the range again on another warm sunny day. Temperature is only supposed to be just barely above 80, so I made the executive decision not to put my shade up. I'm starting to wonder if I'm going to regret that though, because when this sun comes out, even though the temperature might not be that high, it's definitely warm. But I think I can handle it to get a couple more tests done, and this one right here should be a good 45 ACP test. So of course the jelly contraption's out here ready to roll with a couple of chronos and 2 blocks of gel. I've only done one test so far in this, and it was a 9mm test. I'll leave a link above if y'all hadn't seen that one. Plenty of room to get this one right here done. Heavy clothing barrier, of course, with a layer of denim, fleece, and 2 layers of cotton t-shirt. And what we got for this one is some more lead-free 45 ACP. We got the Sellier and Bellot XRG defense rounds, 45 ACP. These are solid copper expanders, 165 grain. Now, I have actually tested some of these XRG rounds in the past. I think it was in the 380. I don't really remember exactly what they did. If I'm guessing, just like all copper rounds, they're probably going to have some pretty decent expansion as long as they're up to speed. The penetration, though, is what I'm always concerned about with the lighter for caliber copper stuff. Now, these are 165, so they're not super light, so it shouldn't be real bad. The velocity on these is saying 1148, and from the info I found, that's actually out of a 6-inch test barrel. So already I'm not happy to see that. A 6-inch test barrel for 45 ACP just doesn't make any sense. I can understand if they don't want to do it through the little shorties just so they can have these big numbers for the box, but at least keep it to a standard 5-inch 1911 size. But anyway, here's your cartridge. As you can see, brass case with that copper expander. Really nice big cavity on this thing, so hopefully that'll help it get some really nice expansion. And now, as far as what we're running these out of, I got 2 different barrel lengths, and neither one of them is 6-inch. For the shorty here, we've got the Glock 30 with the roughly 3.8-inch barrel. And then for the full size, I've got my full size Rock Island 1911 with the 5-inch barrel. So even though these barrel lengths are shorter than what they're working with to get those numbers, hopefully we'll still see some good performance. Let's get it all set up and see what happens. All right, let's see what kind of velocity we can get out of this stuff, y'all. I'm gonna do a 5-round average with each barrel length, starting with this G30 first. Now, if y'all aren't familiar with this lab radar, like I always mention, you're gonna get multiple velocity readings, the large numbers at the muzzle, and then you've got 5 across the bottom. The first one I've got set for 3 yards, which is roughly where the gel is here at 10 feet. And then I've got them set for 10, 15, 25, and 50 yards. Now, remember the box on this is saying 1148, and again, that's out of a 6-inch barrel, so we are definitely not going to see that here. I'll be very surprised if we do. 1044, 1031, 1025, 1025 again. And it looked like 1025 again. Let me make sure those read, but I think they did. Let's check out the average. All right, looking back at those last 3, I'm pretty sure those were valid, just all happened to be the same because we had different distance or different velocities out there at a distance. So that gave us a 5-round average of 1,030. We had an extreme spread of 20 and a standard deviation of 8.5. So nice and consistent stuff. 1,030, that's definitely a far cry from the 1148 out of the 6-inch. 1,030, being that it's a copper projectile and 165 grain, that should still be enough to get it to expand and do something, but we'll find out for sure. Let me get it reset and see what the Rock Island does. All right, let's see what this 5-inch Rock Island does. Remember again, now the box is saying 1148 from a 6-inch barrel, so we more than likely won't see that here either. $11.16, $11.18. Uh-oh. Had a fail to feed right there. I don't know if that's, well, that didn't come out the mag, so it just, I don't want to blame the ammo right there. I need to clean this Rock Island. I ain't cleaned this thing and I don't even know how long, so I won't blame that on the ammo right there. 11.19. Was that 5 of them? Yeah, an 1133. So didn't see the 1148, which I didn't expect to. Let's check out the average. All right, so one thing I've definitely got to say about this stuff is it's nice and consistent. We had a 5-round average right there of 1120. We had an extreme spread of 20 with a standard deviation of 7.7. So really nice consistency out of both barrel lengths. 1120 right there, and if you remember on the shorty, it was 1030. So you're talking about 90 feet per second difference between them. 90 feet per second, that's close to 10% with this stuff right here. So I would say that's probably a significant difference. Now, is that gonna make a big difference in the gel? I guess we'll find out. I think these copper projectiles being 165 are probably still gonna do pretty decent, but let me get everything reset and y'all know what time it is. All right, y'all, it's XRG ACP jelly time. I'm gonna put one through each barrel length into the gel, starting with this G30 first. I'm kind of iffy about this one right here. Hopefully with it being copper and 165, it'll do okay. All right, that was a perfect placement right there. Let me go see what I got. All right, y'all, that's actually looking really good down there. So I think now it's pretty much automatic. We're gonna see something good from this 1911 here. Let's see what it does. All right, should have been another perfect one. Let me go check his stuff out. All right, let's check out what we got down here, y'all. Really nice performance. I'm kind of surprised, but then not really once I get thinking about what I'm looking at here. You know, I'm always worried about the lighter for caliber, especially copper stuff, not getting penetration, but you still got 165 grains here. So a light for caliber 45 ACP is still a big old chunk, so it makes sense that you would still get some nice penetration. So what we got here on the top, that's the one from the G30. It comes in, immediate expansion, very nice disruption, travels all the way through this block and comes to within maybe 3/4 of an inch of the end of this block, and it's actually exactly the same. It's funny that we had the test before this 9mm, spoiler alert, those had exactly the same penetration, and these again are within a 64th of an inch. I mean, they're that much the same. Now, as far as the expansion from this one right here with the G30, nothing fantastic, but absolutely plenty for a 45 ACP. And then down below that, pretty much the same thing, just a little bit more. You can tell here in person that disruption is a little bit bigger, but not a whole lot. Very nice again, all the way through this first block. And once again, it is exactly the same as far as penetration as that G30. And then on the expansion for this one here, it does look like this one's got a little bit more from what I can tell before pulling it. But let's see what this penetration is. So again, they're both the same. The one from the G30, it's actually a little bit shorter than what I thought. It's 15 1/4. And then again, the one from the Rock Island 1911 is exactly 15 1/4. So absolutely picture perfect penetration on both of these. And then of course, here's your close up. You can tell just very little difference, but you probably can see there's a little bit bigger disruption on the bottom from that 1911, but very nice all the way through. There you can see the one from the G30, and then if you go down here, that's the one from the 1911. From above, this one's gonna be tricky. I've been doing a pretty good job of lining these things up today, so they're right on top of each other. As you can see, both of them, really nice performance. All right, let's check out these projectiles, y'all. You can definitely see the difference here. This one right here is from the G30. This one is from the 1911 Rock Island. You can tell you got more expansion right here from the 1911. That being said, this one really isn't far off from full expansion according to what they're showing on the box here. It's funny enough, I was actually talking to somebody in the comments of my ammo video for this right here, and you can tell even the picture that they use, it's not anything really huge as far far as expansion. This one from the 1911, I mean, that's basically full size as far as expansion they're showing on the box. So really nice performance from both of these, even though they weren't up to the velocities that they claim, obviously, out of a 6-inch barrel. But let's get our measurements and see what we got there. As far as weight, they started at 165. I don't expect any kind of loss. This one from the G30 is at 165.2, so nothing at all lost there. This one from the Rock Island 1911 is at 165.8. So again, absolutely nothing lost, and I didn't expect to have anything lost. And then for the sizes of them, we definitely should see a difference here. This one from the G30, you got 5.47 and 5.49. So really nice, consistent expansion there. And then this one from the 1911, you got 6.24 and 6.17. So once again, very nice, consistent, even expansion from both of them. And there you go, y'all, the S&B XRG solid copper 45 ACP rounds. Pretty nice stuff right here. Surprisingly nice performance from both of these. Now, I'd like to see them up to that velocity. I really still wish they would not use a 6-inch barrel for 45 ACP. That just seems a little bit disingenuous. I mean, yeah, they told you it was 6 inches, but let's be real. The standard for 45 ACP testing should be a 5-inch barrel. That's just the way it is. But all that being said, these things did a really nice job out of both barrels. Nice consistency as far as the velocity. Very nice penetration and plenty of expansion right here. Not to mention the fact that these are packaged as 25 rounds instead of 20 like most of them nowadays. So in my opinion, at what you can pick these up for, I think this is a pretty good doggone option for 45 ACP. All right, y'all, that's a wrap for what I think was another pretty good 45 ACP test. Now, I ain't letting them off the hook for using a 6-inch test barrel for 45 ACP, but with the barrel lengths we got out here today, they did a pretty good job. I think a big benefit that stuff like 45 ACP, 40 Smith & Wesson, stuff like that has with copper rounds is even when they are lighter for caliber, they're still pretty heavy. I mean, they're still way heavier than something like a 9-380 or something else you might find with a solid copper. So with that being the case, your penetration doesn't suffer like it does sometimes from those light copper rounds. But let me know down in the comments what y'all think about these. Any of y'all out there run these S&B XRGs, these solid copper expanders in 45 ACP or some other caliber? I still do have the 9mm, so now I'm very curious to see how those 9mm perform. Let me know down in the comments if y'all have got any experience with these. If you enjoyed the video, take a second if you would and hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel, and make sure you've got those notifications turned on so you get notified when I upload new stuff. A reminder again to check out the affiliate info down in the video description. Anything you pick up after hitting those links up, I get a kickback from them towards the channel, so I really do appreciate that. Again, a big thanks to all my Range Gang members and every single one of y'all for supporting the channel. I've got a couple of interesting tests done out here so far today, and I got one really fun one to end it off with, so stay on the lookout for that. And in the meantime, stay safe, stay prepared, and I'll see you soon.